Hello, folks. Hello, I'm Maria. I went to a Chinese restaurant like I always do with my family, my fifth grader son, my wife on a weekly basis. The fortune cookie, the very first fortune cookie that actually affected me, that actually had some meaning to me, was the one last week. People learn most by teaching others. I said to my wife, this is a great fortune cookie. I'm going to write a speech about this. What do you think about it? She goes, well, I learned more about fifth grade math this year and geography than I've ever wanted to. Because she's had to relearn it. If someone would have just told me when I was going to school that I was going to have to teach my son, I probably would have paid more attention. If we would pay more attention when we're here, we would learn so much more if we realize we will be teachers eventually. How many times have we been a Toastmaster? I know Amy's first time was last week. I've seen it over 200-300 times, but until you get up there and actually run a meeting, you don't realize that this whole time you could have been learning while watching instead of at the last minute going, oh crap, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. 52 weeks a year, we learn things here. But I dare say we could remember 3 or 4 words of the day. Now, the same concept of being a teacher and learning as being a teacher applies to all the different little microcosms in Toastmasters. The mentor, the protege, the old officer helping the new officer and prompting the new officer to give new ideas, the committee members between each other, and the speaker and the evaluator. They are all collaborating. In fact, what I came up with as I was thinking about the speech was my own little fortune cookie saying, and that is, really, teaching is nothing more than collaborating with somebody that doesn't realize that they're collaborating. They don't realize that they are involved in a dynamic exchange. And it's very empowering to realize that you can be sitting here going, I'm going to be teaching this one day. I'm going to be sharing this one day. You'll actually remember these things more. So let me ask you, how many people here consider themselves teachers in one way, shape, or form in their course of their work or their life? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many consider themselves leaders? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's excellent. Everybody should be raising their hands. Because as we learn by teaching, we not only have to gather the resources that we have to teach, anticipate the questions that people might ask that we haven't learned, we also learn things that are a little more subtle, a little more nuanced. When I first started at the UK Medical Center as a maintenance supervisor, I was the youngest supervisor they ever hired. I was just out of college. I was the first degreed supervisor they ever hired. And during a Monday morning meeting that I held, a guy raised his hand, a very large Popeye on steroids guy, former Marine, says, you didn't order my dead blow hammer. I said, I took the blue sheet and I've processed it. He goes, no, I don't think so. I think you've still got that blue sheet in your office and you just don't want to buy my tools. I think that you're just doing this on purpose. And here I am, just 3 weeks into being a supervisor, looking at a guy this high. And I said, no, you're wrong. Are you calling me a liar? I said, well, if you're accusing me and telling everybody that I don't order your tools on time and that I'm not trying to help you get the tools you need, then yes, I am. That was a mistake, wasn't it? He got up so fast and was right on top of me and said, there's 3 things you do not do. I don't remember the first one because I was still in shock. The second one was you don't mess with my wife. And the third one is you never call me a liar. If you weren't my supervisor, I would punch you out. Well, if I was 150 pounds heavier and 2 feet taller, I'd punch you out. That was the beginning of my leadership studies. And books didn't matter until after that. They strangely became very relevant after that. Self-help books galore. And then finally Toastmasters. Now, what you learn by teaching others is not just the material that you're teaching. It's how to convey it. To figure out how to find the right format, to talk at the right level with the people that you need to communicate with is very important. That's what you get when you are trying to perform knowledge transfers, educate, communicate. It's very important stuff. And it's amazing, like eidetic memory, like speed reading, that just changing your perspective of what you're doing right now, you are preparing yourself to be a teacher. That you can enhance and speed up what you're doing, what you're learning, and making the most out of what you get out of these meetings. So, my charge to you is nothing more than pay more attention. Consider yourself a teacher. Bring something to the table. You, by assuming that you are a student, self-identifying yourself as a student, you are limiting yourself. It's just like the stone soup, the old parable. Guy walks into town, I feel like that guy at Toastmasters. Brings in a pot, poor community, wants food, no one wants to share, builds a fire in the middle of the community, hot water, puts a stone in it. Everybody's kind of curious what's going on. Have you heard this parable? Well, it just needs a little something. You just need a little help. Maybe a little turnip, maybe a little onion. Next thing you know, everybody chips in and there's actually a soup that everybody can appreciate, participate in, benefit from. That's what we need to do. Everybody here, consider yourself a future teacher. Learn more, contribute more, and we'll all benefit. Let's go.